everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is I, Sarah. Today I'll be showing you my foundation routine for anybody who's interested. My mum, my favourite person in the world, she's been showing people my Instagram pictures because I do like the 100 Days of Makeup Challenge at the moment, and they're like, oh, I just want to know how she does her face. So that's sort of the reason why I'm doing this video today. I'm no expert or anything. Everything I know about makeup I've learnt from the YouTubes, as I'm sure most of you people have as well. So to start off, obviously you want to wash your face and moisturise, and then take your favourite primer. So I use the Soap and Glory One Heck of a Blot, and just put that on the tips of your fingers. Oh yeah, hopefully this is in focus. Who the heck knows, I ain't got a monitor yet. So just rub that between your fingers and then just sort of apply it all over your face. This will obviously help even out any texture, and just need a little bit more. And yeah, just sort of makes your foundation last a little bit longer. So just put that everywhere. Out of the face. So I personally like to use a sponge. This is the Real Techniques, what is it? Complexion, Miracle Complexion Sponge? Something like that, I don't know. And a new foundation today. Usually I use the Urban Decay Naked, usually I use the Urban Decay Naked Skin, but I got this in the post the other day and I thought I could try it out with you guys on camera. So let's go. So just pump whatever your chosen foundation is, either on a sponge or a brush. If you're using a brush, I would probably recommend that you put it on your hand or something on the back of your hand. So yeah, so let's do this. Oh damn, I need to colour correct first. Oh, I keep forgetting that I've got spots all over my face. So I'm just going to put a little bit on my cheeks because I get a bit of redness there, and just a tiny bit on my nose. And then I don't like to put like things like this directly onto areas that I have spots, so I just put a little bit on the back of my hand and just with my finger just sort of dab that onto wherever you have a little bit of redness, like spots and things. So it just makes sure, it just sort of means that you don't contaminate the whole bottle if you've got spots. Right, now that that's done, onto the foundation. So I just like to put little dots sort of all over, and then just start to blend it in. You want to dab, not swipe, because you'll end up taking it off rather than putting it on. Also, don't forget to blend down the neck. Always blend down the neck. You don't want those horrible lines where your foundation sort of just stops and your neck starts. A bit awkward. Quite liking this foundation actually, it's quite nice. Okay, so next I want to colour correct under my eyes. Oh yes, before I use the Naked Skin colour correcting fluid in green for all the redness patches, and then I'm using the pink one under my eyes. For darker skin tones they have like a peachy colour I think as well, and obviously that just cancels out any darkness under your eyes. So with the pink I just sort of put a little bit under my eyes. those little bags have sort of decided to appear. And then just take your sponge again, or a brush, whatever it is that you're using. See, much better. You just want to take your favourite concealer, mine's the Naked Skin by Decay, and I'm just going to pop some on my chin, down my nose. Oh, it's running out. This is like my favourite concealer. And then I'll put some on my forehead. It's a bit awkward when you've got fringe and a handheld mirror. Okay, and I like to blend these out before I put concealer under my eyes. Next, what you want to do is take your concealer and put it under the eyes, just to go over that colour correcting we've already done. And I apply this in like a triangle shape, because then and bring it down the cheek a little bit, because then it brightens the under eye as well, especially if you've got concealer that's lighter than your actual foundation. Next, you want to set the under eyes. So I use the Ben Nye Natural Set Colourless powder, and it's like a loose powder. So just make sure that all those like little lines that you have underneath your eyes are sort of, there's no product settling in there. And then go in with your powder. And I like to do mine on a sponge. I think it looks really nice, the finish. But you can use a brush as well, obviously. And then just tuck that in there, just to stop that concealer from creasing under the eyes. Then just on the nose a little bit, and on the sort of those little creases on the side, just so that the foundation doesn't sit in those little lines there. I don't have smile lines, because obviously I'm just miserable. But if you do, I would advise also setting those with powder as well, just so that they don't crease over, like, throughout the day from all the nice smiling that you're doing. That I clearly don't do because I don't have any. Okay, so that's the general sort of base layer done. So I've just quickly done my brows off camera. Next we're going to move on to contouring. So I personally use the NYX, this is a blush in the shade Taupe, and it's the perfect shade for pale skin like me. So as you can see, it's very cool toned. I just use sort of a less dense brush because I don't want it to be too harsh of a line. So just tap into your product, tap the excess off, and then find where your cheekbone lies. So a good way to do it is to sort of place a brush and sort of roll it on your face, and once it dips in, that's where you know your cheekbone goes in, if it's not, you know, obvious to you. So then you just want to gently brush the product onto your face. I like to do it in like a circular motion. I think it blends out nicely. If you feel like you've gone a little bit too heavy-handed, just take a powder brush and just gently sort of buff it out again. It just sort of removes a little bit of the product. Then something I like to do, even though I've got a fringe, is just do my forehead as well. So just sort of on the edges there. It just sort of creates a shadow, so it gives the illusion that you've got a smaller forehead, because I have a rather large one. So even though I have a fringe, I like to do it anyway. Just because we know what it's like when the wind blows your fringe up in the air and then your massive forehead is revealed to everyone. Then I just like to do along the jawline, get rid of that double chin, contour the chin away. I personally don't contour my nose. I don't feel the need to. But of course, if that's what you need to do, you do you. So just go contour that nose, come back, and then we're going to do blush. I use the Lunatick Cosmetics Lab Contour Book to apply my blush. Well, I don't use it to apply my blush. I don't use it to apply my blush. I use it for the blush. So I tend to go for these two shades here. This one's just a little bit too intense sometimes, and I just sort of like to bring it down a bit with the sort of lighter pink colour. And then you just want to apply that to the apples of your cheeks. So smile. It's a good way to place it properly. And I like to just blend it back into my contour, just so it all blends together nicely and looks quite natural. As natural as wearing like 5,000 tons of makeup can look anyway. Then we want to move on to the highlight, which is pretty much everybody's favourite part. Sometimes I do this at this point, or sometimes I do it once I've done my whole face, but let's do it right now. So I take the Royal & Langnickel Highlight and Glow brush, and I'm using Jeffree Star Cosmetics Peach Goddess. So you just want to place that on like the high points of your cheeks. Give yourself a nice glow, and it also gives the appearance of higher cheekbones. And then I like to put it on the tip of my nose, a little bit down the bridge, and then the Cupid's bow. The one bit of advice I will give when it comes to highlighting is if you have any texture on your face, it will pick up on that. If you've got sort of any little bumps where you'd usually apply your highlighter, it is going to emphasise that. So that's one thing I'll always say to people. If you don't want it emphasised, then I don't recommend heaping it on, sort of thing. But if you don't care, then you don't care, which is great, you know. You do you. Who cares what other people think? Empowerment to all. I sometimes like to set my, once I've done my full base, before I go into eyes, I sometimes like to set it with setting spray, and then I do it again once I've finished my whole face. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter, and just spray that. So I just filmed the outro to this video, and it turns out my camera had stopped recording just before I started speaking, so that was great. And then I re-recorded it and realised that I hadn't sorted my audio out, so I'm having a great time right now. Anyway, this is the finished tutorial of my base foundation routine, whatever you want to call it. I'm no expert, but my mum is like always interested in sort of the way I do my makeup, and I know she showed a lot of her friends and things, and they're always like curious as to how I make my face look the way it does. And I hope that it fulfilled whatever curiosities you guys had as to what my foundation routine was. I'm loving this foundation. I don't think I mentioned it, but it's the BECCA Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. I'm the shade Porcelain because pale AF. Evidently. For those of you wondering, I usually use this. It's the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Ultra Definition Liquid Makeup. This is also great. I'm also in the palest shade of this, which is 0.5, for any of you wondering. They are both cruelty free. All the products I use are cruelty free. Yeah, if any of you are wondering as to where I got any of them, just leave a comment. I'll link you to whatever. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. I'd really appreciate that. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, even Snapchat if you want. They are all at Smell Like I Sound. I will leave the link to all of that down below. I'm going to film a tutorial after this, so this will probably be up the day after that eye tutorial. But yeah. See you later. Bye guys.